This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by RonPaulPhoto.com.
What a noble thing they are able to turn foul. Postal services. An innocuous thing. But once placed into the hands of our federal government, it becomes a conduit for the funding of torture and the inconveniencing of our lives. It's April 15th, 2008, and in a scene that would make our founders turn in their graves, residents line up in their cars for hundreds of yards, inconveniencing themselves for a chance to impoverish themselves and fund America's growing, voracious police state. Their money has been used to bail out the airlines that fly overhead as a reward for allowing their aircraft to be used as missiles, although I don't know about this particular airline. Most will tamely submit without protest of any kind, and most will pay in the form of having to lose much of their revenue and also dozens of hours from their lives as they prepare their tax returns and wait in these lines. But it's the least I can do for them to at least give them a little bit of entertainment while I'm here. So I'm just going to stand here and give them something to see. I've got a little quickly made sign, my Gadsden flag, of course, and an nhfree.com URL. It's something for them to look at. It's better than their windshields. Making tyranny convenient. I was trying to leave one hand free from waving. The place is not totally dominated by government workers and taxpayers. There was a gentleman here earlier today apparently handing out America Freedom to Fascism DVDs. Oh, and by the way, it's April 15, 2008. This is the Ridley Report, and it's Manchester, New Hampshire. There are a lot of people who ask me, or a few people who ask me, if I'm one of the people who is still joining these lines. Still inconveniencing myself out of fear that I may assist in the funding of torture. Hi. The answer is no. I'm one of the many thousands of Americans who visited wartaxresistance.org and took the advice therein. I'm one of the many thousands of Americans who is a war tax resistor, although, of course, I'm a tax resistor for other reasons, in the sense that the federal government does other evil things besides unnecessary war. I stopped paying the federal income tax in 2006. And although government probably still gets 15 to 20% of my money, at least I know I am doing something to stop feeding the monster. I don't want it on my conscience when this government tortures people. I don't want it on my conscience when this government ruthlessly wastes money. And I don't want it on my conscience when they send National Guardsmen through people's front doors in Louisiana to seize their weapons just because there's been a hurricane. Those are my thoughts from tyranny's feeding trough. It's April 15th, 2008 in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's Dave Ridley signing out for RidleyReport.com. Oh, one other thing I think I should mention, and that I hope you will do. Please visit wartaxresistance.org. And they have a form there you can fill out and send to the IRS explaining to them your grievances. And it's important to do that. I did that in 2006 instead of, sending a typical tax return. I sent the war tax resistance form. And, it's important when you're doing civil disobedience, you want to inform the authorities of what you're doing. If you're not doing it openly, then it's not civil disobedience. Or at least you have to be open in terms of your informing the authorities. Anyway, I was inspired to do this by activists like Russell Canning and Ian Bernard of Free Talk Live. And I hope that in turn, although I know I'm taking a risk and I may suffer for having done this, I hope I will inspire others to do the same thing, to not pay this tax. Don't fund torture. don't fund evil things, the majority of which the majority of the things the federal government does are now evil, I am so sorry to say. Anyway, this is Dave Ridley again, about to sign off for RidleyReport.com, but first...
Are you ready to continue the Ron Paul revolution? Then take it to the wall. Put this in your home or office. RonPaulPhoto.com. A high-quality 4x6 print, shot, framed, and offered by Rich D. Young. Americans don't usually put politicians on their walls, but these are unusual times, and we are unusual people. RonPaulPhoto.com. Order yours today and receive a free pocket constitution. RonPaulPhoto.com.